Yo, what is up everybody? Today I am showing you the #1 biggest mistake Fortnite players make. Regardless of your skill level, you are not abusing this Fortnite mechanic enough. So you might be asking, now Polaris, what is this new thing? Well actually, it's not new at all. The storm has always been the game, but only recently have people discovered its true use. So let's jump right into analyzing this game. Alright guys, now it's important to remember that before you play any regular games you should always warm up. Personally, I like to use reload, it's very forgiving, but you should always be already warm and ready to play. Now, you see I'm gonna take a very hot drop, you always want to have that, and I'm looking around for any other players who may be trying to contest me, but luckily I've picked a good spot where there's not too many people and a ton of loot, which I'll recommend here. Which I highly recommend. Alright, so you always want to drop on a good amount of loot. Here I got a sniper, so I'm going to keep looting up. Now, it's very important that you're thoroughly looted before we start taking any fights, because that could jeopardize the whole game you're about to play. Alright, so here I'm going to organize my inventory and show you why this drop spot is actually the most elite spot on the whole map. Here you see 10 slurp barrels that you can instantly break by breaking the boat. Alright, so now I have full health, a green inventory, and I'm going to continue on the loot path. And before even Storm gets involved or anything like that, I am going to be relatively kitted and ready if I absolutely need to fight, but we should always be avoiding that if we're going for the win. Alright. So now, other than thinking about how bright it is here, I'm looking for a car. Now, I'm not going to do anything special. I'm not going to go running around the road like for it. I'm just going to be aware that I'm going to need a car here in a sec. Alright, you guys, so it's very important to be thoroughly looted. I can't stress that enough. If you take fights when you don't have the gear, you don't have the equipment, you're already starting yourself with bad odds. And now you see I'm starting to carry med packs. It's really important because this is the storm strategy. Now, you might ask, why would you even want to be in storm? You know, it damages you, and you know, what's the real advantage? Well, let me explain. So, when you're in the storm, especially in unranked games, there are very few people there. And it just shows that you're way safer in the storm. You can see I'm even going to drop the minis here, because I don't want to drop the med packs. They're going to be important here. But online you see tons of YouTube videos showing how, you know, this professional players are barely getting out of storm, you know, and you think, well, if this guy can barely get out, you know, I'm just dead. But no, guys. If you press M or open up your map on the top left, you'll notice that it shows how many ticks the storm is. So what this means is how much damage per second the storm's gonna do. And aside from doing damage to you, there's one other important mechanic that the storm has, and it's called storm sickness. And what storm sickness is once you've taken 600 storm damage, the storm will start damaging you and you won't be able to effectively heal in storm. This is very bad. You should definitely be out by the time storm sickness gets in. But 600 damage, that means you can be in the storm for a total of 10 minutes at a 1-tick storm before storm sickness kicks in. So it's actually very hard to get storm sickness, but it just prevents professional players to just play heal off. But here you see storm is starting to approach, so I'm going over to my car. Now I'm looking for one more thing. I want to base boost gloves in case you were to ever lose your main source of transportation, which is your vehicle. You always want to have a backup. You don't want to be losing games, especially in ranked, because you know, lost your car or something. So here, I spot a player. I'm gonna take the fight. I want the base boost, and I don't know what he was doing. I don't know, guys. So I look over here, hope for a base boost, and he actually does have some. It's actually just the blue ones, but that's enough. And notice I even dropped my big pots, because here in Storm, there are going to be minimal players in unranked games. So here, I'm going to lose my car for you guys. This is an example where, you're stuck without a car, but I still have my base boost. This is really why you want to have a second mobility item. Personally, I prefer the base boost, but if you like shockwaves or whatever, those work just fine as well. The islands are starting to spawn, which I'd normally suggest go for, but I'm going to show you here later in the video why we don't actually want the islands. So just there, I got that slurp truck down to 1 hit, so if there's any emergency, I forget to look at my health or something, I can always just run back to that slurp truck and get full health. Now, I'm not really satisfied with my loot, I know that there are some good players potentially in this lobby, and I want to be prepared, so I am waiting till I get, an excellent inventory to fight with. Nice, get a Spire gun, and, I'm gonna get some new base boost gloves, hope it's the purple type. They are, got lucky there. And I'm just gonna keep going around. I'm gonna pop a med pack here soon. It's always important to keep an eye on your health. Now, you see this Sire nearby. This time, I'm not going to take it because I'm pretty happy with my loot. But, the bots also take storm damage just like you. So what you can do is you can start Spire, and then just hang around nearby, continue looting by the Spire, and the bots will eventually die. And then you can just kill the Spire, because, you're not in danger of the bots. Now, the bots aren't too good, they're firing at me right now, but I know I'm safe. There's no point in, being too scared of the bots. Despite the bots getting a reputation of beaming and stuff like that, they're really not that good. So I see this chest, I want it. I actually don't end up buying this chest, I don't believe. But yeah, now you see I have purple guns. Still have a blue shotgun, might want to replace that, but that's enough for sure. So as you guys see, there has been nobody in Storm, absolutely nobody. I know that, I spawned another medkit here, that's excellent, but I know that I'm safe here. I can be a lot less cautious. Now I'm just, sprinting around absolutely open fields, but I know that I'm safe here, and I can I can just run around freely. So now I'm gonna start heading into zone. I'm gonna take my time looting. If I see a chest, I'm gonna take it. I'm not in any. I'm pretty safe here. See, you got another Spire around here. Could take it. It's not really worth it for me because I have good guns. So here I am. Got a B chest in Storm, which is also excellent to mention. All these cash chests, they will not be marked on your map if they're in Storm. So I would recommend opening up a website like Fortnite GG or just searching up an interactive Fortnite map, because this will give you the map knowledge of an Unreal player. You can select what you want to see, what's important to you, and it will show you all the stuff you're going to need to see. So it's going to give you excellent map knowledge. I almost always have it pulled up on my second monitor. So now I'm going to start looking at the islands because I know I have great loot and I'm ready for fights. So we're going to start heading over to islands. But again, I have tons of time here in Storm. You should really not worry about, not having enough heals or not finding stuff. It's very easy to survive in Storm, especially when it's one tick. I wouldn't recommend doing this strat for Storm that's over 2 tick because you're gonna need a lot of meds. I'm gonna have to be popping med packs twice more than I am right now. So this is about a good time to start heading into zone. Again, there's no rush. You should always, take loot here as long as you need to. I could probably stay here for another 3-4 minutes before Storm really starts doing damage to me. but I see I've got the guns I need. I'm gonna start heading in. Now, we don't actually want to take the boss fight, because currently the medallion isn't worth the risk, but tons of people are dropping the DMR, which is the only long-range weapon here in the game right now. So it's always great to carry it, even though it's not that strong. It's free kills. You can just pick off players without any worries. So here I want to pop med pack, make sure that I'm full health for any fights I'm gonna have to take. Alright, so I'm popping a med pack. I'm always looking around for any other players, making sure I'm safe. Alright, so now you see I'm at full health. I was only forced to take one fight, which I chose to, and I see that the medallion, the boss fight has already been taken, which is what I want to see, because I want to get that mythical sniper. So here I see that legendary gun. Pretty lucky. I'm gonna check it out where it is, but even without it, I'd have an excellent inventory. Turns out to be a sniper. Generally, if you do get a legendary sniper, you don't need to go for the islands, but here I'm just gonna demonstrate for you guys how it's gonna look. As far as endgame goes, don't go into the storm. It's simply not worth it. And different endgames, they're very hard to give tips on, because they change they're always different. You know, the spots, you might be in an open field, you might be in a place like Crime City, whereas you see there's tons of just obstacles. It's very dense. You know, it's even very hard to drive a car around here. So we're just gonna keep going to the islands. We don't need a rush. Most people won't pick up that the mythical DMR. Here I see I'm close by the island. I'm gonna check him out, see if it's a bot, I'll fight him. If it's a real player, if they're good, I'm not gonna. So here I see they have the mythic grappler. I'm gonna go in to hit him with the car one more time, but if I don't get to hit, yeah, he jumps over. I see that this is a decent player at the very least. Don't fight him, it's simply not worth it. You know, he's the medallion that is probably the next strongest, that's the biggest threat out of all the other people around here. You know, that means he won the boss fight. That means this is an actually strong player. Alright, so as far as looking forward, once you get the islands, you're gonna want to stay there for as long as possible. You can take a bit of storm, you don't have to. It's up to you with the islands, and it depends on how long, but the islands, you should definitely stay there. They're extremely safe, because if anyone tries to rift up on you, you're gonna hear them, and you have the first shots. Alright, so that guy's gone. I know it can take the islands. So I'd say in about 80% of I don't want that fight, I'm gonna run straight for the rift. He does damage me, but that fight was simply not worth the risk. You know, even if that's an absolute bot, I don't want to jeopardize the potential of this game. So I'm gonna pop med pack, and I see that the mythic gun was dropped this time, the mythic DMR. So it's always worth grabbing that. It's actually quite an underrated gun. I'm not sure why tons of people think it's not worth grabbing, but if you can just hit your shots, it's an excellent gun. Alright, so here I see someone else is rifting, and basically from now on you just want to keep the islands and get into endgame. You don't want to be taking too many hard fights. It's simply not worth it. So I'm gonna stop the video here. Just the end game is always extremely different in different scenarios. I might make some videos here, so like and subscribe if you want to see those. But anyways, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Drop a like if this video was helpful, and yeah, thank you for watching. Appreciate it, and I hope this video helped you become a better player.